Hey, what's up guys, it's Rink here, and today I'm going to show you how to beat the Spherimorph easily in Final Fantasy X. First, let's take a look at the boss's mechanics, and then we'll get into what you'll need to do to beat him. This fight can be difficult, as it's the first true boss with actual mechanics in the game you really must play around, making it a noticeable difficulty spike. Spherimorph's primary gimmick is that it starts the fight with a random element affinity of one of the four main elements: fire, water, thunder, or ice, and changes this element once it's successfully hit with its elemental weakness. To find what element Spherimorph is weak to, we simply need to hit it with a physical attack, causing it to counterattack with its elemental type. Additionally, be careful randomly throwing spells at Spherimorph, as it will counterattack with a stronger party-wide spell, as well as healing it if you land a non-weak attack. For this fight, preparation is fairly simple. The only required prep is Lulu or Yuna with fire, blizzard, thunder, and water, and a non-elemental physical attack. While these are the only things you truly need to win the fight, I also recommend that you bring a few additional abilities to make this fight much easier. First, for damage mitigation, you can bring Yuna with her null skills that block elemental damage, and Auron with Power Break and Magic Break, which has Spherimorph's strength and magic stat, lowering its damage drastically. Additionally, you can bring Tidus with haste to quicken your magic user, allowing you to attack more often before Spherimorph's turn. Lastly, and this is very situational, you can steal the Poison Fang from a Wasp and Macalania and use Riku to cast poison on it, causing damage every turn Spherimorph takes. This isn't really required at all, but can be very helpful if you're doing a no spear grid challenge. Now onto the fight itself. Once the fight starts, the first thing we want to do is weaken Spherimorph and set up our null abilities. So we will use Magic and Power Break on Auron and start casting our null abilities on Yuna. Next, on Tidus' first turn, cast Haste on Yuna. This will allow her to set up her abilities quicker. At this point, if Yuna is not your primary black magic user, swap Tidus for Lulu. Next, use Auron or Tidus if he's still out to identify Spherimorph's elemental weakness. After it counterattacks and reveals the element it's weak to, hit it with the opposite spell. After this, the fight is mostly about recasting null abilities at need and repeating weak/opposite spell cast once you identify his weakness. It's worth noting that once you reduce Spherimorph's HP to half, he will begin to use Press, which does about 50% of your party's HP. Be careful of this and heal as necessary. Lastly, if possible, try to overkill Spherimorph, as he grants you 2 times level 2 key spears if you do this. You can overkill him by doing 2000 or more damage on your finishing blow. I find it's easiest to do this with Valifor, as her Energy Blast/Ray does a great deal of damage without any elemental roulette, so you won't really need to figure out his weakness before you summon her. And congratulations, you beat Spherimorph. You now have access to Jex Spears, so make sure you go back and gather them before Macalania Temple so you can unlock some of Auron's new overdrives. I'll have a video linked in the description with their locations. Anyway, thanks for watching, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next guide. Peace!